Hey Rob, welcome back, man. How you doing?
Hey Tim, I am golden. I don't know what that means.
Well, back to your list of your 10 tenets of kindness. We're talking about three and four. Kindness is a risk, and kindness is about the value of every human being. Where were you coming from on this one?
So, I've spent time in some cultures that have a pretty heavily and more explicit statement of caste. And one of the things that kind of was a wake up call for me was I got to know a guy who had gone into a corporate context, and he had come out of extreme poverty, and in this particular culture was would be considered fairly low caste, actually lowest caste,
Hmm.
almost outcast, I would say. And one of the things he told me, he said when he got his first corporate job, which is a miracle that he even was doing that, is amazing. But his manager said to him, he said, "Why are you being kind to people?" And what he told me is he said that in many ways, kindness is actually an explicit sort of representation of a lower caste person
Yeah.
in his particular cultural context. And I thought it was just interesting to think about, because I don't think that that is completely foreign to us, in other cultures, even in the United States, that in some ways the reality is that, especially, we talked before about kindness being in our roots. When kindness gets into your roots, it is a risk. Like, it's something that's countercultural, and there's a chance that you might be persecuted for it, which is so strange. So I'd love your thoughts. That's where I was coming from in that statement.
No, no, no. I hear you, man. And it's not just, something that happens overseas in India and other places like this. The kindness games, is a fun game to play on LinkedIn, and people, do this. I've had so many people reach out to me over the last 2 years and say, Tim, this is awesome. This is like what we need. I love it. Keep it up. And I said, hey, do you want to do it? And they say, no, 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 I can't. It won't go over where I work. It won't go over with like my colleagues. Like, I'll be destroyed. And here's the interesting thing from those statements from people that work in the United States, right?
Mhm.
Is kindness is a risk. But as we closed out our last episode, it's also an aspiration. So, like, I have to ask the question, what world do you want to live in? What world do you want to lead?
Mhm.
We at the kindness games, we talk about our common humanity. There are things that bind us together so tightly, more than anything that could divide us.
Yes.
And that common humanity is the way we want to experience life, the chances that we want to get in life, how we want to be treated, how we want things to be reciprocated to us. And this is your choice
Yeah.
to say, you know what? I want to be treated this way. I know others want to be treated this way. And if I take this risk, if I move forward this way, it will be better for my mental health. It will be
Mhm.
better for my career health, right? You talk about kindness is about every human being around you, right? It uplifts people around you. You create supporters, people who don't have animosity towards you,
Yeah.
people that will actually look out to you. I have stories about times when, I could have went the other way. I could have
Yeah.
played the political game. I could have got the easy gotcha, but I didn't. I was kind, and that came back to bite me.
Yeah.
But there was a swell of peer pressure around me that pushed back on that, was like, absolutely not. That's not okay. Even against people that were quite a bit above me throughout my
Yeah.
career. And the
Yeah.
interesting thing is, when people treat you poorly because you choose to be kind, if you are truly a kind person and you're bringing humanity together around you, they will come to your defense. And this is, like I said, it's aspirational. Where do you want to live? Where do you want to lead?
Yeah, and it does take courage, because I think about all the leaders we work with, and leaders across the security industry or law enforcement in these places, in any culture, in any organizational context. There's going to be certain rules of engagement that define the culture, and it takes guts to, you know, 'cause like you, I've heard many people, you know, that I'm all about whole and intentional leader development. One of my primary premises is that it takes time and it takes courage to be this kind of a person, to offer compassion. And I don't mean compassion to the people that are easy to offer it to, right? We're talking about offering it to, that's where we get back to that roots thing. We're talking about, you know, kindness being offered to someone who it's the last person you want to be kind to.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where I also, that next one on the value of every human being, I made this point, like kindness is about the value of every human being. That means the ones that I disagree with, the ones who cut me off, the ones who do, you know what I mean? Like, and if I could maintain that, and I feel for all the people and leaders in our sphere of influence who say this is hard in my context. I mean, I've had people say like when we bring our intentional process to an organization and they say like, is this gonna get into my life? You know what I mean? Or someone will say like, this may fly. I've had leaders in the United States say like, oh, what you do may fly in India, but it won't fly. But I've also had, you know, I've of course had the opposite said to me, and I'm laughing because it takes courage to be this kind of human being.
And to walk this counterculture path, right? Another risk for kindness is, one, if you're not kind in every aspect of your life, people are going to call you out for it.
Yeah. And
You're
that's,
going to be a hypocrite, but that's where it goes back to, it's a process, right? You have
yeah,
to create a holistic outlook of kindness. And this is something that we fear.
yeah. And I this is why I don't know if this metaphor or analogy works for people, but for me, that's why I also suggest it's kind of like going to battle. Like there's a sense in which you're taking this kind of a value system into, it sometimes feels like warfare for people. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's like you get attacked for something that's, we would hope it'd be seen as the right thing to do. But if I'm honest, I don't always have that attitude that wherever there's the value of every human being where I see it. And so I have to go into that with intent. I got to practice it. You know, it's unfortunate, but true, right?
But the other place this steps in is when you offer grace and acceptance to your fellow human being, even maybe especially the people that you don't really want to offer it to, whether they're below you, at your level, above you, in whatever hierarchy you find yourself in.
Yeah.
When you offer grace and acceptance and you say like, hey, this is
Yeah.
okay, we can get through this, we can learn from this does not define you, and I believe in you. There's plenty of stories to where people have jumped into the kindness games and people are like, this is fake, this is like not real, like nobody really lives
Right.
this way, right?
Yeah.
And they came under some internal like persecution from it, people backbiting and just talking about this, and people just making their life tough. But the consistency of effort and the grace and acceptance they offer to others creates believers and actually creates allies, strong allies, because those people end up saying like, this is crazy, this is actually this person, and I want to be near them, I want to be part of them. And that's,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think, worth the risk.
And related to that, Tim, is something you just made me think about. And this is, when I think about our friendship, is that this is a battle that we should not go into alone.
No.
And so it's like I'm inspired by you, and other members of the communities that we're a part of, who I don't stand alone in this, because it would be very difficult to do that. And so I'm even convicted right now because I'm sitting here thinking, okay, Rob, I'm going to experience something today, there's no doubt, where there's the last person that, you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm going to see something different because Tim's voice is going to be in my head.
Well, hey man, we are in this together, right? Because we
Yeah,
want to
for
live
sure.
and lead in this type of world.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. I'll see you next time.
Okay. Sounds good.